Yeah, the Knicks did the impossible and are now up 2-0 against the Boston Celtics. So let me just start by saying I apologize for bashing on the Knicks. Even though they didn't really play to their full capability in the Pistons series, they're really showing like how good of a team they are now against the Celtics. But there's a possible chance that the Knicks could legitimately sweep. Now, will they sweep? I don't think they will because, Boston's still a good team and I still have faith in them to do what needs to be done in Madison Square Garden, but it's not looking too good for Boston right now. So, let's just start off with like the biggest plot hole in this entire series so far. Boston just can't shoot the ball. For the entire series, they're 25 of 100 from 3, which is 25%, and they're just not hitting threes. Joe Mazzulla might be worse than Mike D'Antoni with the live by the 3, die by the 3 philosophy. Like, he's legitimately living by the 3 and dying by the 3. Like, it's actually absurd. And they took 20 less threes tonight. They took 60 in the first game. They took 40 today, and they're still not going in. So, Boston somehow figures out their three-point struggles. These games would probably, go in Boston's favor because three-point shot, a lot of teams rely on it nowadays, and, it's 3 points over 2 points. You lost the game by 1, hit a couple threes, shit, it might be like a 10, 15-point game. Second thing, Kristaps Porzingis, he's dealing with like a respiratory illness. He's not really giving them that much production in general. He only had like 8 points tonight, 4 rebounds, and I don't know what's going on with him, but hopefully he gets healthy and is able to provide Boston with some very much needed scoring and shooting because they can't shoot the ball right now. On the Knicks end, Brunson, he ain't really had that good of a game tonight, but he hit some shots down the stretch. Typical Brunson. Other than that, the other starting lineup played well. Cat realized Al Horford's 38. While I just go at him and get him in foul trouble, and Cat put up 21 and 17. And Cat, he hasn't. It's only 2 games in the series so far, but he hasn't really been shooting that much at all in general. From the 3-point line, he's kind of just taking it in the paint, absorbing the contact, and just playing like very physical, which is pretty weird to see from Karl-Anthony Towns. Mikal Bridges, he had 14, 7, and 5 tonight. He didn't really shoot the ball well, but all his 14 points came in that fourth quarter. He got the stop on Jason Tatum, and just played great defense and has been playing great defense throughout the entire series. Josh Hart, he balled out 23 points, hit his threes today, because Josh Hart's kind of the guy that you just leave open. Like, you'll live with Josh Hart hitting threes. But, played pretty well. And, overall, the Knicks' game plan is just, like, going very well for them. Just be physical. Trust Brunson in that fourth quarter when the game's close. And, just hit the shots and win the game. And, that's the reason why they've came back down from 20-point leads twice in this series and came to win the game. Now on Boston's side, Tatum has been horrendous this series, and people, mostly Tatum haters, they're starting to give him some flack for it. Hopefully he picks it up in New York, but 13 and 14 on 5 and 19 is not going to get it done. Jaylen Brown, he had 20 tonight, not on the best efficiency. At least he was aggressive. I'll give him that. He was pretty aggressive in that first half. And, it looked like he was set to have like a 30-point night or whatever, but just didn't go his way. Derek White gave you 20. Just typical. He shot a little inefficient, but, it's Derek White. He's their third option. You just expect them to be consistent. And if Tatum and Brown had good games today, we wouldn't even be looking at Derek White. We would say 20. He dropped 20. Okay, cool. And then just keep it pushing. Peyton Pritchard, he didn't really do much. 3 of 9 from 3. It's just Boston's not hitting their threes. And it's not looking good for the Celtics. So what will we probably see in the Game 3 adjustments? Well, for one, I think hopefully Joe Mazzulla just I'm cool with shooting 43s a game, but you know, just try to drive it more in the paint. Maybe get some more mid-range shot touches for whoever shoots those. Tatum, I don't really like him shooting mid-range shots because it usually results in a fadeaway, and he's pretty inconsistent at those, as we can clearly see tonight. But you know, hopefully Boston, they change up their game plan a bit, stop shooting too many threes, just limit it to around 40 attempts. Hopefully they start falling, and the Knicks, you know, just keep on doing what you're doing, playing hard-nosed defense, keeping the game close, being in the game, and then just close it out in the fourth quarter. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on this series so far. It's just crazy. I would have thought Boston would be down 2-0 to the Knicks, let alone Cleveland would be down 2-0 to the Pacers. But I guess that's just the Eastern Conference for you.